The Holy One, blessed be He, and welcome to Beit Yisrael International's Voice of Torah podcast, where the eternal light of Torah shines forth to the nations. I am Gaddi Efrayim, and today we journey into the teachings of Parashat Vayigash, 5785, with host agents Abraham and Sarah. Yehudah's approach is characterized by three powerful elements: prayer, a cry from the depths of the soul to the Creator; war, the readiness to fight for justice and one's people; conciliation, the pursuit of peace through heartfelt dialogue. Yehudah's approach to Yosef is a powerful moment that reflects prayer, strategy, and unity, key elements in redemption. In Jewish thought, Yosef represents Torah, the wisdom that sustains the world, while Yehudah symbolizes prayer, the heart's cry connecting us to the Creator. Their encounter reveals the cooperation of the two messianic archetypes, Mashiach ben Yosef, who begins the redemption, and Mashiach ben David, who completes it. Together, they teach us the importance of unity and reconciliation in paving the way for redemption. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Parashat Vayigash. May the eternal light of Torah guide us toward unity and redemption. Thank you and blessings.
Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. Today we're going to be exploring a story that I think a lot of us are familiar with, the story of Yehudah and Yosef. But we're going to be taking a look at it from some really fascinating perspectives, drawing on some insights from Beit Yisrael International and also Gaddi Efrayim. Now, I know what you're thinking, another ancient tale. But trust me, this one's not just some dusty story from the past. It's actually a powerful roadmap to unity, to redemption, and maybe even a glimpse into achieving divine harmony.
And what's so captivating about this story is that it's not just a feel-good narrative. We're talking about real-life struggles, real-life betrayals, and then ultimately this journey towards forgiveness and reconciliation. It's a process that I think resonates with all of our lives, even, thousands of years after this story takes place.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I think a lot of us, we know the basic storyline. But how is this a roadmap?
Well, think about Yehudah's approach to Yosef when they finally come face-to-face after all those years. He doesn't just apologize, but he demonstrates his sincerity through this multi-layered approach. There's this intertwining of prayer and strategic action, and then also this genuine willingness to reconcile. And it all takes place in this incredibly tense encounter.
Yeah, it's so easy to overlook the complexity of that moment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Yehudah's trying to save Benjamin, his family's in crisis, and then he's also facing the brother that he betrayed years ago. Talk about pressure.
Absolutely. And, the Zohar, a key text in Jewish mysticism, it adds another layer to this. It suggests as Yehudah acknowledging Yosef's authority, it's not just a gesture of respect, but it's actually this profound recognition of a divine plan that's unfolding.
Hold on. So you're saying that Yehudah
fell down to
Yosef. It's like he's realizing there's a bigger picture that he couldn't see before.
Exactly. The Zohar sees it as a crucial step towards messianic fulfillment. This idea that even in the midst of hardship, there's this divine orchestration at play. It challenges all of us to consider how shifting our own perspective on challenges in our lives can lead us towards a greater purpose.
Wow, that's pretty profound stuff. And speaking of a greater purpose, this whole story seems to hinge on the theme of unity, right? Didn't the prophet Ezekiel say something about the Messiah only coming when Yehudah and Yosef are united?
You're spot on. He saw this reconciliation as like a microcosm of the unity that is needed in the entire world. It's a timeless message that resonates so deeply with the challenges that we all face today, the divisions, the conflicts, this constant struggle to find common ground. Can this ancient story offer us any guidance on bridging those divides?
I'm eager to explore that.
Yeah.
What did Beit Yisrael International have to offer on this?
Well, they emphasize that Yehudah and Yosef's reconciliation wasn't just a happy ending for them, but it actually had these ripple effects. They point out that peace and joy spread throughout the world. It revitalized their father Jacob, and it united the 12 tribes of Israel. So it wasn't just this personal victory. It had profound consequences for everyone around them.
So this reconciliation, it really did have ripple effects throughout the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you think about how interconnected we all are, how even our individual choices can contribute to this broader sense of healing or disharmony.
Precisely. And Gaddi Efrayim takes it a step further, breaking down Yehudah's actions into 3 spiritual practices that I think we can all learn from and apply to our own lives: prayer, action, and reconciliation.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about these 3 practices.
Well, let's start with prayer. Yehudah's pleading Yosef. It's not just this desperate attempt to save his brother. It's actually a powerful act of humility and sincerity. It's about recognizing a power greater than yourself and aligning your will with that higher purpose.
So it's not just about asking for what you want, but it's about surrendering to something bigger than yourself.
Exactly. And then there's action. Yehudah was willing to fight to protect his family, even offering himself in Benjamin's place. Sometimes we need that courage, that willingness to take action and stand up for what's right.
That makes sense. Prayer is important, but it's not about passively waiting for things to happen. Sometimes you have to roll up your sleeves and get to work.
Yeah.
What about that third practice, reconciliation? What can we learn from that?
Yeah, reconciliation, that's often the most challenging part, because it requires us to let go of past hurts, to forgive ourselves, and to forgive others. It's about acknowledging the pain without letting it define us, allowing space for healing and for growth.
Yeah, that's powerful. It makes me think about those moments when, we're holding on to anger or resentment. It's like we're clinging to this burning coal, hoping to throw it at someone else, but really we're the ones getting burnt.
That's a perfect analogy. Forgiveness. It's not about condoning harmful actions. It's about releasing ourselves from the grip of that pain and resentment so we can move forward.
So in a sense, reconciliation is like an act of self-care as much as it is an act of compassion towards others.
Precisely. Now let's delve into a fascinating aspect of the story that the Zohar highlights. It connects Yosef to the concept of yesod, meaning foundation. The Zohar is saying that true redemption, that messianic vision of peace and harmony, it requires both that strong foundation of righteousness and the wise, compassionate leadership of the kingdom.
So like two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
You can't have one without the other. It makes me think about our own lives. Are we building our lives on a foundation of integrity, of kindness, of commitment to doing what's right? And are we using our strengths, our talents, to lead and make a positive impact on the world around us?
Those are excellent questions to ponder. It's a challenge to each of us to examine our own foundation and to consider how we can use our unique gifts to lead with wisdom and with compassion.
And that brings us back to Yehudah and Yosef. Their story doesn't explicitly tell us how they managed to bridge the gap after so much pain. What do you think enabled their reconciliation?
That's a question worth reflecting on. Perhaps it was a combination of factors. Humility, empathy, a willingness to see beyond the past hurts. Ultimately, their story is a testament to the transformative power of forgiveness and the possibility of unity, even in the face of profound adversity.
What an inspiring thought. And it perfectly sets the stage for our final segment, where we'll explore the practical applications of these profound insights. We've been diving deep into the story of Yehudah and Yosef, and I have to say it's really resonating with me. This idea that reconciliation, it isn't just about patching things up, but creating this ripple effect of healing and unity. It's powerful.
It is, isn't it? And it begs the question, how do we apply these ancient lessons to our modern lives? How do we become those ripples of positive change?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We've talked about the importance of prayer, action, and reconciliation, but how do we translate those concepts into practical steps?
Well, let's start with prayer. Remember, it's not just about reciting words. It's about cultivating a connection to something greater than ourselves. It's about finding those moments of stillness, reflection, and aligning our will with a higher purpose. That might look like traditional prayer meditation, spending time in nature, or even simply pausing to appreciate the beauty around us.
It's about nurturing that inner connection, regardless of the form it takes. What about action? How do we embody that principle in our daily lives?
Well, action is about aligning our outward behavior with our inner values. It's about speaking up against injustice, advocating for those who are marginalized, making choices that reflect our commitment to a better world. It can be as simple as volunteering our time, supporting ethical businesses, or even having those difficult conversations that challenge the status quo.
So it's about putting our beliefs into action, making them tangible in the world. It's not enough to just think good thoughts, you got to act on them.
Absolutely. And finally, reconciliation. This one can be the toughest, because it requires us to confront our own pain and the pain that we've caused others. It's about letting go of resentment, practicing empathy, and seeking forgiveness both for ourselves and for others.
This makes me think about how often we avoid those difficult conversations, how often we sweep things under the rug instead of addressing them head on. But this story reminds us that true healing and unity, they require us to face those challenges, to have those tough conversations with courage and with compassion.
That's a profound insight. And remember, reconciliation doesn't mean condoning harmful actions. It's about choosing to release ourselves from the grip of the past so that we can move forward together.
So in a way, it's a gift we give ourselves, as much as it is a gift we give to others. It's about breaking free from those chains of resentment and opening ourselves to the possibility of healing and growth.
Precisely. And as we navigate the complexities of our modern world, the story of Yehudah and Yosef serves as this timeless reminder that unity is possible even when it seems improbable. It calls us to cultivate our inner foundation of righteousness, lead with wisdom and compassion, and embrace the transformative power of reconciliation.
Wow, what an inspiring message to take with us. We're going to be exploring this idea that Yosef still lives, a phrase that goes beyond just survival.
Yeah.
It's about this enduring mission of Yosef, or, well, Mashiach ben Yosef, a pivotal figure in that whole journey towards redemption. We've got some amazing sources to dig into, from Beit Yisrael International Teachings to notes by Gaddi Efrayim.
Right, yeah, and it's going to...
And let me tell you, this is going to, challenge how you understand how this whole redemption thing actually works.
Yeah, it's true. This isn't just about hanging on. It's about a powerful, active force working even when things seem hidden.
Yeah.
We're going to see how this connects to resurrection, battling spiritual opposition, and even merging those seemingly opposite forces for the ultimate goal, bringing about the messianic era.
Okay, so for anyone who needs a refresher, Yosef, he's the guy from the biblical story, right? Yeah. Sold into slavery, rises to power in Egypt, the whole deal. But in Jewish mysticism, he becomes more than that, right?
Right, he's not just a historical figure. Yosef becomes this symbol for Mashiach ben Yosef, a kind of forerunner to the Messiah, the one we often think of, Mashiach ben David.
Okay.
And that phrase, Yosef still lives, it tells us his mission isn't just about surviving, it's eternal. It's always, always unfolding.
So we're talking about an influence that goes beyond his physical life, right? Like an energy that continues to shape things.
Exactly. It reflects a core idea in Jewish thought. Righteous figures, even after they're gone, they're considered alive in a spiritual sense,
Okay.
Their work, their impact, it keeps resonating.
I'm already seeing how this is going to get complex and super interesting. Now, we're dealing with two messiahs here, Mashiach ben Yosef and Mashiach ben David.
Right.
What's the relationship between these two? I mean, it's not a competition, is it?
No. Think of it more like a relay race. Mashiach ben Yosef is running the first leg. He's focusing on setting things right in the world. Materially, A&D, spiritually. He's paving the way, doing the heavy lifting, so that Mashiach ben David can come in and bring that final, ultimate redemption.
So while Yosef still lives, points to this ongoing preparation, there's a parallel for Mashiach ben David too, right?
Exactly.
Something about him still being around.
Exactly. There's a phrase associated with Mashiach ben David. David, king of Israel, is alive and exists. Both these phrases emphasize that their mission is woven into every generation, always present, even if we don't always see it.
Okay, so let's break down Mashiach ben Yosef's job description here. What exactly is involved in his mission? What are the key things that he's working on?
Well, it's a big job. He's tasked with gathering the exiles, rebuilding Israel physically. And here's where it gets intense. He's battling spiritual forces that are trying to block redemption from happening.
Whoa, battling spiritual forces. Okay, we need to unpack that. What kind of spiritual opposition are we talking about here?
Yeah, it's heavy stuff. According to these sources, there's this powerful negative force called Armilus, who basically represents everything that stands against Israel's redemption. And Mashiach ben Yosef is the one going head to head with this force.
Whoa, so Yosef still lives isn't just passively existing. It's about being engaged in this epic battle for good. It's giving me chills.
All right. And here's where it gets even more mind-blowing. You know the Amida, that central prayer we say?
Yeah.
There's a line about speedily establishing the throne of your servant David.
Of course, I've said that countless times. What's the connection to all this?
Well, mystics like the Arizal say that line isn't actually about David's throne being established right away. It's referring to the work of Mashiach ben Yosef. He's the one laying the foundation for that throne, making it possible for Mashiach ben David to come and rule.
So that prayer we say regularly is connected to this deeper hidden work going on all the time. That's incredible.
It really is. And we see this theme of merging seemingly opposite forces for a greater good in another aspect of this concept. We've got to talk about the unification of the two trees, Yosef and Judah.
Okay, yeah. We briefly mentioned those trees before.
Yeah.
Why is their unification so important?
Well, Yosef represents Torah and Judah represents prayer. And getting them together isn't just nice symbolism. It's crucial for God's plan to unfold and for that messianic era to arrive.
So it's like they need each other. Each one alone isn't enough.
Exactly. They need to be in harmony for things to, work. It's like two sides of the same coin, each one bringing something essential to the table.
And this idea of bringing different parts together, it isn't just about Torah and prayer, right? It shows up in that powerful story about Yosef's father, Jacob. When he hears Yosef still lives, he doesn't just get happy, he transforms into Israel.
Yes. And it's more than just a name change. That moment is huge. Gaddi Efrayim, in his notes, really emphasizes that this is about the potential for resurrection, for being made new, both, individually, A and D, for the whole world. It ties in directly to that core message of Yosef's mission being so alive, so vital.
Man, that gives me goosebumps. We're talking about transformation at the deepest level. But I'm curious, how does the Hasidic perspective add to all this? They always have these unique insights.
Oh, absolutely. The Hasidic masters, they see Yosef as representing hidden light. He's the one quietly doing the hard work, the rectification, often behind the scenes, unseen, but absolutely crucial.
So even when things feel dark, even when it seems like nothing's happening, there's this unseen force pushing for good, for repair.
Exactly. And this mirrors the experience of the Jewish people throughout history, right? Times of exile, hardship, but always this underlying current of hope, striving for unity and peace. It's like Yosef's story playing out on a larger scale.
Okay, I'm starting to see the bigger picture here. But what does this all mean for us listening right now? I mean, we're not mystical masters or biblical figures.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And both Beit Yisrael International and Gaddi Efrayim's teachings suggest that just believing in this concept, in the living mission of Mashiach ben Yosef, is a powerful step towards helping redemption happen.
So our awareness, our belief, it actually makes a difference.
It does. And it's not just passive belief. It's about aligning our actions, our daily choices with that mission, supporting the work of Mashiach ben Yosef through what we do.
So it's about bringing this grand cosmic idea into our everyday lives, right?
Yes.
Finding ways to contribute to that process of, fixing what's broken, not just waiting for some future event.
Exactly. It's about finding that harmony between Torah and prayer, between material and spiritual in our own actions. And that's where the concept of reconciliation becomes super important.
Oh, right. We touched on this earlier with the two trees, but how does reconciliation fit into the bigger picture?
Well, remember, Yosef represents Torah and Judah represents prayer. The reconciliation between these two brothers isn't just a nice ending to the story. It's foreshadowing the ultimate harmony that needs to happen for redemption to fully arrive.
I'm seeing how this concept of Yosef still lives really ties everything together. It's not just about one person. It's a message about the whole process of redemption unfolding throughout time in ways we may not always recognize.
Yes. And that's the beauty of Jewish mystical thought. It takes these ancient stories and connects them to our lives right now, giving them new meaning and depth.
I have to say, thinking about this hidden work going on all around us,
Yeah.
it's pretty inspiring. It makes you realize that even the small choices we make can be part of something much bigger.
Absolutely. And that brings us back to that question we posed earlier. What does this hidden work of Mashiach ben Yosef mean for us in our daily lives? How can WE contribute to his mission?
It's a question worth sitting with, for sure.
It is. And maybe the key is recognizing that we're not just passive observers. We each have a role to play in this unfolding story of redemption. Even if we don't always see the full picture, even when things feel challenging, that potential for transformation is always there.
So what concrete steps can we take to align ourselves with this mission? How can we practically bring these teachings to life?
That's the beautiful challenge, isn't it? There's no one-size-fits-all answer. But maybe it starts with being more aware, more conscious of the choices we make each day.
So if Mashiach ben Yosef is all about bringing things together, maybe we can look for opportunities to build bridges in our own lives, whether it's between people, ideas, or even within ourselves.
Exactly. It's about finding those moments where we can choose kindness over conflict, understanding over judgment. Even small acts can have a ripple effect, contributing to that greater harmony that Mashiach ben Yosef is working towards.
And remember how Yosef himself found strength even in the toughest situations. Maybe that's a message for us too. When we face challenges, instead of getting overwhelmed, we can try to see them as opportunities for growth, for uncovering that hidden light within ourselves.
I love that. It's about recognizing that potential for transformation, for resilience, even amidst hardship. Just like Yosef's story teaches us, even when things seem dark, there's always a chance for things to shift, for good to emerge.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive. I feel like I'm seeing the world, and even my own life, in a whole new way.
Me too. And that's the power of these teachings, right? They take these ancient stories and make them relevant to our lives right now, offering like guidance and inspiration for how to navigate the world and become better versions of ourselves.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave our listener with this. The idea that Yosef still lives isn't just a mystical concept, it's a call to action, a reminder that each of us can contribute to the unfolding story of redemption.
Beautifully said. By embracing the qualities of Mashiach ben Yosef, compassion, resilience, a drive to repair what's broken, we can help bring that vision of a more harmonious, unified world a little closer each day.
And who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe by taking those small steps, by choosing kindness and working towards unity, we'll even hasten the arrival of that messianic era we've been talking about.
I like the way you think. And until next time, may your own deep dives be filled with insight, inspiration, and a renewed sense of purpose.